we got to at least talk a little bit about this wild card game against the Rams in LA. It's going to be the last wild card game of wild card weekend, Monday Night Football, January 13th, a week from today. It's coming up.
Yep. As of literally a week from right now.
Yep.
We will be watching that game.
So, keys to victory. What do you think? How do the Vikings get out of this one with a win?
Well, you again have prepared us pretty well here in this segment. You've got offensive and defensive keys here. And on offense, the teams kind of have a similar identity, which you say no surprise. Kevin O'Connell was the Rams offensive coordinator just a few seasons ago. So they're obviously going to look similar. These teams are kind of evenly matched. They have similar strengths, similar weaknesses. This will be a good game. I think just the Vikings need to. That one key to victory is Sam Darnold needs to forget his inaccurate moments and hit the receivers.
Yeah.
Play the game. Hit the receivers. That's all you need to do, Sam. And I think that will be huge.
Yeah, and I think on the defensive side of the ball, I was doing some digging today. The Rams are one of the worst third down teams in the league this year. They're not the worst, but they're one of the worst. And they don't get to third down a lot, but when they do, they don't convert a lot. And so I think that's something that the Vikings will have to exploit on defense. Brian Flores is going to have to work to get them in these third down situations and try to, get after Matthew Stafford, because he's probably going to drop back and pass in those third down situations. He's going to try to find Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua.
Which that worked well the last time the Vikings played him.
Yeah, but if I remember right, and I could be wrong, they did a lot of the dink and dunk, the little check downs, the little screen passes off to the side, and then the Vikings were playing a lot of zone at that point, and they just exploited the zone, weaved their way through, got the first down, got just enough to, move the sticks and keep the ball moving. And that's kind of how that game went. I think this Vikings defense has learned a lot about itself since those two back-to-back losses against the Lions and the Rams after the bye week. And of course, they have all of their players back, really. I mean, Blake Cashman was out. I think Ivan Pace Jr. was out at that point too, or maybe that was a little later in the season.
I don't remember that.
I can't remember, but anyways, they're very healthy. They're very ready to go, and I think they're hungry. I think they have a chip on their shoulder. I think they're pissed off at how poorly the Week 18 game went against the Lions. They're ready to get that sour taste out of their mouth and go for it. It is an advantage too, I would say, to play the last game of Wild Card Weekend, just maximum amount of time to recover. So another key to the game, I would just say the Vikings, not only you mentioned this with Sam Darnold, he's got to just find the open guys and make completions. I think KOC needs to call a good game too, kind of like he tried to do against the Lions. And again, I'm not necessarily faulting him. It wasn't horrible play calling in my opinion, but he's got to find a balance. He can't abandon the run early on, and he's got to be able to utilize things like the play action and stuff like that to keep this defense on their toes. I don't think the Rams have the greatest defense. In fact, they may have one of the worst defenses in the NFC playoffs right now. I don't back me up on that, but I don't know that they're the strongest NFC defense right now. So I think Kevin O'Connell has to exploit that as a play caller too.
For sure. This is going to be a fun one to watch, a nerve-wracking one, because this one counts. I mean, it's not the regular season anymore. It's the playoffs. Win or go home.
Win or go home.
Yeah, I think the smallest of silver linings, or the thinnest of silver linings, in losing that game against the Lions is now you're motivated even more. Not that they weren't motivated, not that they couldn't have won, but now it's like, crap. Like, all right, spend that extra 15 minutes in the film room. Do that extra little bit of preparation because, you need to, and you've felt what it feels like You know what it feels like to lose right now, and that sucks. And now you're motivated to go out and actually win the playoff games that matter right now. Like, let's
There's
go.
that legendary picture last season of Kevin O'Connell with that big stick at practice after the Vikings fumbled the ball like an egregious amount of times in a game. I wonder what he will do in practice this week. Like, Sam, quit throwing the ball so high. Here's how we're going to correct that.
Yeah.
Is there a prodding stick or something that he can pull out to correct some of that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm here for it. If there's something to fix that, let's do it.
If anybody can fix a quarterback playing the way that Sam played last night, it's Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
I think he's proven that in his 3 years. He helped correct some of Kirk Cousins' bad habits.
Yeah.
And some of those bad habits continued to die hard, and it sucked to watch for Vikings fans because we watched him take a lot of sacks and we watched him throw the ball away a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Kirk Cousins gets hurt last year, and we got the 4 amazing quarters across 2 games with Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut. We got little Nick Mullins. We got a little Jaron Hall. And we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly of quarterback play as Vikings fans last year, but we also saw really good coaching, and we've seen amazing coaching, phenomenal coaching from Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown too.
Yeah.
By extension, he's interviewing for head coaching jobs.
I think the Jets today, for sure.
Which is slightly concerning. But anyways, I'm excited for this Rams game. I'm excited to hopefully see this Vikings team turn things around after a really ugly loss to end the season.
Yeah. Do you have a game prediction?
I do. I want to hear yours first, though.
I like to protect myself. I like to guard my feelings, and I like to be the doom and gloom.
Unless you're texting me in the middle of the game and you're like, nah, we're going to win this game. And then 5 minutes later, nah, we're going to lose this game.
I think the Vikings go down there and they beat the Rams. They can't let this 14-win season end with another. Kevin O'Connell can't have another just awful first playoff game of the year like they did against the Giants a few years ago. The Vikings know the Rams. Kevin O'Connell knows Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. And to that point, Sean McVay knows Kevin O'Connell too. But this Vikings team is better than the Rams. They will go down there. They will beat them. It won't be a bashing, but I'm going to say 24-17 Vikings.
All right. I'm going to be pretty similar. I'm not going to be too far off from you.
Okay.
I think 26-13 Vikings.
Okay.
I think the defense holds this Rams team to a lower score total. And I think this offense figures something out. I think they score a few more points. And I think the 26, which is kind of an odd score in football, comes from maybe a defensive score. There might be a safety in there.
Oh, maybe,
something. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if the defense scores at least once in this Rams game. I think they're going to get after Matthew Stafford. I think they're going to make his life miserable. I think they're going to try to get him in those third down situations, third and long situations, and really just go after it. I think they've all got this really bad taste in their mouth, and they're excited to prove to the world what they can do.
Yeah.
You've got something I want to know what you're chuckling at.
As we record, I have Twitter up and just keep tabs on the world as we're talking in case we can break news on a pre-recorded podcast. And right now, friend of the show Dustin Baker tweeted, I'm gonna censor one word, but he went to the game. He was one of the people that purchased the face value tickets from the Vikings owners who spent a lot of money to do that. His tweet says, the Detroit road trip, for better or worse, is complete. Have decided that it was good for Darnold to have his trash game last night rather than round 1 of the actual playoffs. And trust me, I spent 13 hours effing thinking about this one on the road. LOL. I think he's right.
That's a good take. I like it. I agree with him. let's hope that all of the bad stuff is out. I mean, we saw this happen earlier this season. Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions at Jacksonville and then came back and just lit up the league.
Yeah.
I mean, lit up all the other teams they played until they got grounded at Detroit.
Yeah. It was December.
Yeah.
December.
Yeah.
And Santa Claus, not Santa Claus. Santa Claus was wreaking havoc on the league. It was fun.
I think we should just stick with Sammy D.
Yeah, Sammy D. We'll throw up the graphic here.
I did have my Sammy D shirt on last night. I wore it. I was excited for him. I texted you multiple times during the game. I still have faith in this guy. Had faith that Kevin O'Connell would get his mind right, get Sammy D's mind right on the sideline. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I think they turn it around. And I think they win this wild card game. And who knows? Maybe we're going back to Detroit in 2 weeks.
All right. I hope you're right, because the Wheel of Purple Punishments is not done. And I don't want you to have to wax your legs or something. So